Hello and welcome to the BritVSJapan podcast. This is your host Matt, and welcome to episode 1. And to those of you on Patreon who are wondering, wait a minute, episode 1? What happened about the other 2 episodes already on Patreon? Well, they're not going to be published live. I'm going to keep those as 2 separate, extra episodes on Patreon. So if anybody's interested in listening to those, they are up on my Patreon, I believe for the $1 tier. And you can listen to those if you wish. The reason I didn't want to make those public is because the sound quality in those 2 are pretty bad. They're using my old microphone. But that did encourage me to buy a new one. So you can now, hopefully, listen without, any issues of hearing me and stuff, because that microphone was really quite bad. Anyway, so in today's episode, we're literally just going to talk about why I decided to start a podcast, and essentially because I wanted to. Well, there's a lot of times where I had ideas about talking about certain topics and ideas, and I felt like it was a good topic and idea to talk about and to discuss, and I feel like people would definitely gain some insight from a said topic. However, I didn't feel like it was enough to turn into a video or into a blog post, and so I've had all these little ideas running through my head and all these little things that I wanted to talk about. There's some very niche sort of concepts and stuff that I wanted to discuss and sort of convey to everybody that's interested in language learning, because I feel like a lot of them would help those kinds of people, and just general stuff that I've learned and I think is very useful as well. So that's kind of the basis of this podcast. It's going to be me essentially just talking about whatever comes to mind, essentially. And I will also be using your guys' input as well. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do this yet, but because I'm very new to podcasting, I don't even know where to actually upload this to. I will be uploading this to YouTube and definitely other outlets. If you're listening to this on another outlet, check the description, because there's usually a description, and there should be like a Google Docs or something down there, maybe a form or something where you can submit your own questions or ideas that I will attempt to answer in the podcast, and that way I can try and answer a lot more of your guys' questions, because that's something that I always struggled with YouTube, is I got a lot of questions, and it's understandable because back in the day, AJAT was kind of new. Learning Japanese or any language for immersion was kind of a new concept, and so a lot of people had a lot of questions about it. And it was very difficult to answer those questions in the YouTube comments. I'd end up writing essays and essays on a reply to a question to someone who I didn't even know if they were going to even see it in the end, because YouTube might not send them a notification. So I feel like this way is a much better way of sort of keeping in contact with you guys, and especially those of you that actually, watch the content a lot, and I know you'll come back and see the answer and stuff. So I think it's a great outlet for that. And I also think it's just a great outlet for me to just ramble and blabber on about certain ideas that I've had. That's the basic idea, I guess. And also, I felt like not doing a podcast in 2021 is kind of like, I'm kicking myself in the foot. I really should be expanding on my horizons, and especially if I'm getting back into YouTube, I need to figure out ways to, impress the algorithm. So podcasts are great for that. I know a lot of podcasts do really well, and I feel like this could be something that could really help benefit the channel and benefit you guys as well, because obviously you'll get a lot of be able to input into the podcast, and I'll be able to help you guys out as well. And so there's that, and there's also just covering all your bases is something that I need to do. I'm particularly bad with social media. I don't use Twitter at all. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it. I don't have a Facebook anymore because I didn't agree with their how they ran the site. So I stopped and deleted my Facebook account. But in reality, what I should be doing is I should be spreading, I should be doing stuff on all these different platforms to try and increase the amount of contact I can make with viewers that don't know about certain language learning techniques yet. And so I figured podcasting is probably a great way to do that. It's one of the outlets essentially that I can use. Obviously, I've got my blog, I've got the YouTube, I've started Twitch as well, and I will try and post more on social media. Although I think it's very I don't know. I'm not very good with social media, so it'll probably just be a case of like I'll post any new updates to the other. So like if I post a podcast, I'll probably just say hello. I posted a podcast, and I'll just upload it on Twitter, kind of thing. So I probably won't be spamming Twitter because I don't necessarily agree with using Twitter that much as well. That was something like it kind of goes against my my old philosophies of using social media. Well, I still don't like to use social media because of a bunch of reasons, but mainly because like it's very distracting. I had a bad time with Facebook. Let's put it like that. I had a very distracting Facebook experience that was very detrimental to my work ethic at the time. So that's why one of the reasons why I stopped Facebook. But yeah, I'm going to try and expand my horizons, as I say, try and post a lot more on different outlets, different platforms. So be sure to check out any descriptions on YouTube, on the podcast and stuff, where you can find the links to those external sites, and give me a follow or subscribe over there. So yeah, guys, that's it for the first episode. Let me know in the comment section, or check out the description page for that Google form, or however I do it, and suggest an idea or something to discuss in the next episode of the podcast, or ask me a question or whatever, and I will be sure to answer your questions in the future. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.